Yo, what's up guys? We got PokeaimMD here. Today we are back with a what if video, and it's what if Pokemon replaced the current sleep and freeze status with Drowsy and Frostbite from Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now I'm not alone today. I got my boy Shofu with me. You can say hi.
What's really good is your boy Young Bird Toast, aka Young Burger Patty. Nobody wants beef.
Yo, that's him. What else?
That's it.
That's
all I got today.
wow. Okay, short. Okay. A little unimpressed, a little sad, but you know, we'll move
Come on, man.
I mean, I'm used to the 1 minute.
Too much pressure, man.
You know what? You're right, bro. You're right. Anyway, guys, if you do enjoy these type of videos, make sure you leave a like. Subscribe to my boy Shofu. Subscribe to me on my way to 300K as well. Shofu on his way to 1 million. And yeah, pick up my new Draco Shaker. That link is down below as well. You get it 30% off. So, this is a really interesting thing, right? Because for the longest time, we've been plagued by, I would say, sleep and freeze. Besides para, because they kind of fixed para, quote unquote, sleep and freeze were definitely the most annoying statuses. Would you agree?
Fixed pair. I mean, yeah, I guess it's not as bad as before.
It still feels bad. It still feels bad. Yeah.
Yeah, they nerfed it for sure. Freeze is absolutely stupid. We've always known that.
Yeah.
It's way too strong, or it's just not consistent either. Like it's just
yeah, you know,
you'd be frozen for 1,000 turns or 1 turn.
Yeah,
you never know.
That's the biggest thing.
Sleep is very strong. It's always been very strong, just because it guarantees that Pokemon is out of commission for at least a few turns.
Yeah, I think
like
that,
completely, like not slow, not just completely gone.
I mean, you can argue how strong sleep is just by the fact that 6v6 singles has sleep clause. Period.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like we have a clause that you can only put one Pokemon to sleep, not counting if you go for rest or anything like that. So it is definitely its own thing, its own broken thing. And then freeze is also pretty nasty as well because you only have a 20% chance to thaw each turn, right? It used to be 10%,
yeah,
and then it became a 20% chance to thaw each turn. And freeze can be so detrimental because it's. I feel like it's like you're switching to Ice Beam, right? It's already an Ice move. Ice is already a great offensive type.
Ice is very strong, yeah.
Ice is already really strong. So if my switch into an Ice type attack is a Fire type, right? Let's just say a random Fire type like Macargo. No, let's say Rapidash. Rapidash is made of fire. Macargo made of fire. Lago too. The fact that Mon can be frozen and I can't thaw unless I'm running like Flare Blitz or I guess
you have to use a fire, certain a specific fire move.
Yeah, or Skull.
It's weird because they've added so many rules as to which Pokemon can't be affected by certain status moves. Like electric Pokemon can't be paralyzed, even if it's not with an electric.
Doesn't make sense why fire type Pokemon can be frozen.
But you can be frozen as a fire type.
I don't get the sense behind it. And then obviously, so that's like it's a big thing, right? Because freeze has always been something to put you out of commission. Like if I see an Amoonguss, I see a Breloom, I know they're gonna have Spore on them, right? I can prepare myself for Spore, and obviously they've added, like Shofu said, conditions. Like I can go into a grass type, they can't use Spore. We also have abilities like Overcoat, so it can't be status.
There's nothing like that for freeze.
Exactly. There's absolutely nothing like. We have abilities that you can't be frozen, but they're not. They're not worth using on certain Pokemon, right?
Exactly.
So and sometimes the Pokemon are worth.
First of all, there's nothing that guarantees freeze. And they know how strong freeze is because there's no move that's higher than a 10% chance to freeze.
Yeah.
Like they know this.
Yeah.
They know how dumb freeze is. They got to.
I mean, I guess the saving grace is ice types can't be frozen, but the thing is there's not a lot of ice types that are known for their defensive like capabilities, right? Obviously we have Avalugg and Cryogonal, but they're not high tier Pokemon even with heavy duty boots. We're not switching them in, right? There's Weavile and there's Mamoswine, 2 offensive demons. And it's already, at least those mons don't really have a chance, but it's not even, they're not switching in on the ice type attacks is what I'm saying. Like, being aimed at them, right? Like, you're not switching in on Curum's ice type attacks, even though that mon got banned anyway, in 6v6 OU. You're not switching in on Ice Beam from a random, like, water type. That's the thing, too. Ice is also pretty widely distributed, right? It's not just ice types going for it, at least with Ice Beam's case. It's water types as well that have ice coverage as well, and if you have,
you pretty much want ice on anything that can get it.
Yeah, exactly. It's good coverage. I mean, for a water type, it allows it to deal with grass types. That's just like it's common sense right there. So it can deal with everything. So yeah, ice is already in its own regard pretty busted. So then we have Frostbite from Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now the way Frostbite works is it's similar to Burn, which I really like. Each turn, the Pokemon afflicted with Frostbite receives 1/16 of max HP. Same thing, it takes damage, just like Burn. And the Pokemon's special attack stat is cut by 50%. Now, I'm not saying I would still like to be frostbitten or frozen or anything, but when I get burnt by Scald, I'm a little upset, but at least I know my limitations when I'm like that, right? And I can still use the Pokemon even if they're not to the best of their capabilities. However, if I get hit by an ice move and I'm frozen, I have no, 20% chance to thaw each turn. I can never thaw, right? Theoretically, I can never thaw. And the battle could be in and I'm out of Pokemon, right? Even in Gen 1, if you were frozen, you were dead. Your Pokemon can never ever thaw, period. So I like this. I actually like this. Not only does it make freeze not as oppressive, but it also makes certain Pokemon be able to beat Pokemon that they shouldn't. Like, imagine my my water type, right? My Vaporeon freezes your Celebi, or Frostbites your Celebi. Not only is Celebi taking chip turn per turn, but their special attack is cut by 50%. So I can, out damage their Giga Drains or something like that. Like, has a sense like that. So what do you think about this as a whole?
I mean, I think it's definitely better than regular freeze. Regular freeze is just too much. Yeah. And I mean, Frostbite, I like the fact that it's just like the opposite of burn. It's nice. It's nice to have something that's like, I always like the fact that there's usually like a counterpart or the opposite of the spectrum on the special side. A lot of things like I mean, it just depends.
Swagger and flatter. Like things like that.
Yeah. I like shit like that.
Yeah, I agree.
I like having moves on the other side of or like the opposite of the one that I'm using.
We don't really have it with Intimidate yet, but I feel like that's just because physical attackers are kind of oppressive anyway, which is what Intimidate have. But that's a whole different story anyway. But
we don't need everything to have an opposite, but for status, I like that.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I didn't like how you could burn like physical mons lose half their attack, but special mons never
got anything out of it. Exactly.
Like intimidate and burn existing, but nothing existing for the special side.
Exactly. And also the fact that like even in that regard, right? Prior to Gen what is it? Gen 6 was it? That is when Burn started doing 6%. It was either Gen 6 or 7. Apologies. I play every generation, so I always forget things. When Burn was doing 12% versus the 6% it was doing, like, at least when you were doing 12% to a special attacker, like, if I burnt a Keldeo, sure, I'm not lowering its special attack, but at least it's taking 12% per turn plus Sand Chip in Gen 5, right? But then they changed that to 6%, which means that even leftovers can out-damage, or, like, can at least even it out, so you're not really taking damage. So, the fact that there is something here that can cripple them, I like it, but also, I'm not... again, back to Keldeo, right? I switching Keldeo on an ice type attack from Vaporeon. Sure, I'm frozen, or excuse me, I'm frostbitten, but at least I know when I move, and I'll be able to do it. I can still, yeah. The same thing when you're burnt. When you get burnt, at least you can Swords Dance to get your attack back to neutral. In a sense, there's things that you can do it. So this gives us a way of playing.
It just doesn't end the fucking game for you.
Exactly.
Being frozen can ruin the entire game, and it's completely by chance. They didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
It's too strong to happen by accident.
Yeah. I mean, then that's the reason, like you said in the beginning, that's the reason why it's 10%. That's the reason why Pokemon knows. In fact, I believe Pokemon had a tournament. They actually had freeze claws in the tournament too, back in Gen 1, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I'm remembering things from videos, but don't ask me to source anything. Just go prove me wrong in the comments, if anything. But, so, I like this. I like this a lot. I think it's a really cool thing. It's still... Because... when you're playing the game, right, Pokemon is a game of RNG. I already have to take into account, at least, maybe I don't always say it, but in the back of my mind, okay, there's a 4% chance here that they crit my counter to this Pokemon, so this is a 96% chance this works, but also if they're going for an ice move, there's a chance I get frozen and I can't do anything after that. I like this. I like the ability to be able to do something with this, and like you said, I like the fact that we're punishing special attackers just like we punish physical attackers for the longest time. Yeah. Like, why does Scald burn and hurt the physical attackers, whereas we had never had anything for special attackers? So I like this a lot. I like this a lot.
And special attackers have a lot of special attacks. Like, a lot of special attackers are really, really strong.
Yeah, no, he's 100% right. If you're a special attacker, like, it might sound like duh, but if you even look at let's look at the OU tier real quick. I have it right in front of me. But if you look at the OU tier, which is, again, we're looking from a 6v6 singles perspective. You play from VGC, let me know your thoughts there as well. If you look at the OU tier, the first special attacker we see is 151 base special attack. That's Blacephalon, right?
Yeah.
Clefable, its best stat is its 95 special attack, and it Calm Minds. Dragon Ball's base 100. Dragonite's more physical, but base 100. You see Heatran at base 130. So, like, Madden's on a base 130. So they already have a lot going for them. Always.
Yeah.
Always, always,
Special
always.
attackers are usually pretty strong.
Yeah.
That's why.
And a burn isn't as disruptive as it used to be, like I said, for a special attacker, just because of the fact that they're taking 6% now instead.
Yeah, they don't even care to be burned anymore. It doesn't even matter.
Fine. It doesn't make too much of a difference at all. So again, big change. I would like it. Let us know your thoughts on that down below. But this is the one where it gets interesting. So let's talk about Drowsy. Now, Drowsy is a replacement for the sleep mechanic, and it has a couple changes. It's more like confusion without the hurting yourself. So the Pokemon may be unable to move each turn. I believe it's a 50% chance that the Pokemon can move or not each turn. And the Pokemon, and this is the big one, because the Pokemon receives increased damage from attacks. Now, it makes sense, right? If I'm sleeping and you're attacking me, I'm probably going to take more damage because I can't guard myself, right? It makes sense in that regard. But I believe...
It doesn't need to be that high.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's like a 50% increase or something like that. Guys, let me know down below on that.
That's insane.
Yeah, I feel like it is. Now, the Pokemon may be unable to move each turn. A 50% chance to move each turn was, I believe, the data that it said. I think that's fine for a sleeping Pokemon in some regard, right? Prior to...
At least it gives you a fighting chance, at least.
Yes, it gives you a fighting chance instead of just not being able to do anything, which I think is pretty big.
That's my problem. Like, these moves are too strong.
Yeah.
Like, it's too much for, especially like a move like Spore that doesn't miss.
Yep.
You get hit with Spore, guaranteed. You're just out of commission for at least a couple turns. It's too strong of a punish.
Exactly.
For not a lot of risk.
Exactly. And if we even go back to what we said before, like Smogon itself, 6v6 singles, has its own sleep clause because of this, but we even go a step further, right? Generation 5 actually has sleep completely banned from competitive 6v6 because Spore is, you sleep for up to 3 turns, but if you switch out, sleep resets, so you reset all your turns, right? So it's broken. Now, I do think gain age of OU, current day and age or of the Generation 8, where you can only sleep 1 to 3 turns, I think it's a lot better than what it was before, right?
Yeah.
Like Generation 1, it's 0 to like 7 turns. You can literally wake up the second they hit you, but then you won't be able to move till next turn anyway. And then it keeps going to like, I think Gen 2 is like 2 to 7, and it keeps going until we finally have the modern day one, which is Gen 6 and above, which is 1 to 3 turns. I think that's fine. I like the fact that you're unable, that you may be unable to move each turn though. I like the fact that, a Breloom or an Amoonguss can punish me by going for Spore. And I think VGC, this might be pretty cool too, considering you're able to Spore everything, right?
I was gonna say VGC's sleep is not as strong, obviously, because there's another Pokemon next to you. So that's like that's kind of like the iffy part.
Yeah.
Single sleep is very strong, but doubles it's not as strong.
Yeah.
Because I can, if I please, I can double up on the Pokemon that's gonna put me to sleep or do whatever. Or
and even if you have like Helping Hand or Follow Me or whatever the hell, Rage Powder. If the Rage Powder mon is usually the Sporemon, right? Because that's Amoonguss.
Yeah.
Like even and I also want to note that in VGC specifically, it's a lot easier to get away with running what I would consider a worse item in 6v6 singles, like safety goggles on a Pokemon, right? Because if my Arcanine is, I don't have to worry about heavy duty boots for Arcanine, right? Because there's not going to be Stealth Rock in a 4v4 for the most part. I can run safety goggles in it because I still have my ability Intimidate to check Kartana. I'm thinking about like really old, like obviously things are updated to like Incineroar and stuff, but I have my Intimidate to check the physical attackers, but I also have my safety goggles, so I never have to worry about Rage Powder. I never have to worry about Spore. And I mean, then Pokemon themselves also knew that sleep was broken because they consistently give us ways to combat it. Not only the safety goggles as an item, but obviously grass types not being able to be slept. Because I mean, as a person who's played Gen 4, I've definitely beaten Celebi's 1v1 with my Brelooms, like for sure. For sure.
Nice,
Focus Punch, like that's it. Or even like even Gen 5 with Breloom, Technician Breloom and all that stuff. I've beaten Amoongus's 1v1 and stuff. Like some Amoongus's started running Sleep Talk. Like that's also crazy to me in a sense. But yeah, so Sleep in itself has always been pretty busted, but I don't know if I like this more. I like the first part that it may be unable to move. So a 50% chance to move, that's fine. It's like being confused. Right? Maybe I'll do something. Maybe I'll wake up in my sleep. Maybe I won't.
Yeah.
Right?
At the end of the day, that's way better than being completely out of commission.
Exactly.
A chance to attack is so much better than just completely being useless for a few turns.
Exactly. Agreed.
I'll take that over completely being asleep.
Yeah.
The damage increase is all right as long as it's not half the damage. Like
it's kind of
it's more.
I feel like the reason this one hurts a lot is because it's only a 50% chance to be able to move or not, right? Like if I stand and have to risk, and that's me risking this, but maybe this is my only way of winning the game. I have to not only risk waking up and getting off my attack, but if I don't, I'm going to take more damage this turn. It's definitely a lot more RNG than I think normal sleep is currently, at least currently. Because again, 1 to 3 turns, I know that if I burn the initial, if I'm on turn 3 of sleep, I know I'm going to wake up this turn, right? Turns 1 and 2 are the RNG ones because you never know if you're going to wake up. But if your last turn is your 3rd turn, you're going to wake up, period. Because it's been 3 turns of sleep. That's the guarantee, right? So I'm a little iffy about this. Apparently, you can also remove Drowsy by using Spark, Volt Tackle, and Wild Charge.
Really?
Huh. If removing the opponent or user uses them. So I kind of like a little jolt of electricity wake you up. I like that. And I don't think that's even it's not even a terrible thing, to be honest, because like electric moves are used, Volt Switch is everywhere, right? I can if my again, I keep using Amoonguss, but let's say Tangrowth went to sleep or is drowsy or whatever, and I bring it in on Ronan's Volt Switch, I'm gonna wake up. Like I like that. I like that little aspect. I like little things like that too.
I mean, it sounds like, to me, it sounds like they don't want Drowsy to be completely worthless. Like, say I make you drowsy, and you never get immobilized or whatever the hell the effect is when you're actually like sleepy or whatever.
You're right. Yeah. So basically, it's nothing.
At least I still have the damage.
Yeah. Okay. So I never even thought about it from that aspect. I like that actually. Yeah. So from that aspect, I kind of like that because I understand it better. I'm not saying I like it as like a whole, but you're right. Like it's like confusing somebody and them never hitting themselves in confusion. Obviously, if you hit yourself in confusion, you take the damage, but otherwise, yeah.
And people aren't running around with Confuse Ray on their Pokemon in competitive.
Except Sucker for Jessica, usually. But yeah.
I'm just saying, Confuse Ray itself is not necessarily a competitive move as far as like, people bring it, and it's for that same reason, because it's not worth using. Like if they never hit themselves, confusion is not strong enough for me to justify it over a lot of the other moves.
Yeah, exactly. If a hack source is not boosted, for instance, and it hits itself with confusion, 30-40%. But then I use Swagger. I've boosted its attack to +2 because it's stronger. Now it's actually taking damage. So like Swagger is a different sense, and again, that's been nerfed.
I mean, you're risking your own health at the same time.
Exactly.
If they do end up hitting themselves,
they're actually doing more. Yeah, it's better than using Confuse Ray because I mean, you confuse me. Oh no, I'm gonna switch out. Exactly. Right?
Yeah.
Like who cares?
So with Drowsy like this, without the damage increase, it's pretty much the same as Confusion.
Yeah.
But with the damage increase, I still have a reason to use it outside of you not being able to attack sometimes.
Yeah.
Which makes it actually clean.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Look.
So I'm still iffy about. I for sure like Frostbite over Freeze. Freeze is two game changes. Freeze is 2 game changes.
Nobody has ever liked Freeze. I can't even go for a Freeze. I mean, I can go for a Freeze on purpose, but the chances are slim. First of all.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Second, how many times have we frozen somebody and they attack immediately?
Dude, that's the worst. How dare you thaw? How dare you thaw when
people
just before...
People thawing on the same turn you freeze them is the worst shit ever.
Not to mention, like, at least in, like... I hate freezing a Pokemon with Scald so much. Right. It's like, yeah, it's the... Like, think about it. Like, before they gave Kyurem... Freeze Dry, right? And they gave these Pokemon Freeze Dry, which I think is an excellent move. I love that Freeze Dry a lot. Like, I like the fact that an Ice type can hit Water types and hit super effective. It's mostly bulky waters coming in on my Ice type attacks, right? So if I freeze them, who cares? They just scald and burn right through, and burn me on top of it. It's like a waste of a turn. I like Frostbite a lot. I like it. It punishes special attackers, but it doesn't make people completely useless. And I like the fact that we're punishing special attackers. I think Drowsy though, a little iffy about the RNG behind it. I think regular sleep at this current point is better, and also not to mention regular sleep is kind of it's already nerfed so much, right? Like Dark Void, 50% accuracy. Obviously in Legends Arceus they put it back to 90% accuracy, right? And then you have nobody uses Hypnosis for the most part unless it's Gravity. Spore on Amoonguss and Breloom for the most part. You also have that other mon, Shiinotic. And then Sleep Powder, sometimes Tangrowth uses it, but I think that Sleep is absolutely fine. We do have that new move, Dire Claw, which has like the chance of getting a crit and also Poison, Paralyze, or Drowsy, which I think is pretty cool too. It's like an Effect Spore type of thing.
What Pokemon has that?
Sneasler.
Oh, I never even seen that.
Yeah, it's a Poison type, 60 base power, 100% accuracy. It has a chance to crit, and it also leaves the Pokemon Poison, Paralyze, or Drowsy. So, which is pretty clean. But overall, like Frostbite. Not the biggest fan of Drowsy, but I'm not 100% against it. But I can't say it's better than Sleep, is what I'm saying. At least current Sleep. I cannot say it's better.
I don't think it is.
You really,
competitively speaking.
You really think it's better, competitively speaking?
I don't think I don't ever. I mean, it just depends because Spore has no downside aside from being used on grass types.
Yeah.
There's no risk involved in using Spore most of the time. If Spore can miss, like most sleep moves have a big chance to miss except for Spore.
Yeah.
If Spore was more in line with those, then I'd agree. But the fact that I could just use Spore and guarantee put something to sleep with no downside, that's kind of what. And like even Thunderwave can miss now. Will-O-Wisp can miss. Like every other status is not guaranteed.
Yeah, besides like Toxic or Poison type.
I guess it depends. Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right.
But Toxic's not the end of the world. I can still attack. Like I just if I stay in too long, I'll take damage. But it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But sleep is too strong in general. Like it. When I say too strong, some people might not really understand what I'm saying because it's always been the way it is. Like it's always been you're asleep and you can't do anything until this moment or until these amount of turns pass. But sleep is really good, man.
Yeah, it's always been like
especially
I said,
especially in singles.
Yeah, it got banned in Gen 5. It literally got banned in Gen 5, and Amoonguss and Breloom are still really good. Like just saying that what the Pokemon are, but.
And I can't really compare sleep to freeze because I can't do anything to freeze somebody on purpose. That's not true. Not on purpose, but guaranteed freeze.
Yeah, no, there's
I can't do anything to guaranteed freeze somebody. So even though freeze is really strong, it rarely happens.
Yeah.
Sleep, deliberate, you're gone. You're out of commission for however long. I think Drowsy is better just because it's not the current sleep.
I think that's okay. Yeah, I guess if it also counts towards Sleep Clause too, I'd be okay with it in a sense, right? Like
but well, first of all, with Drowsy, when you switch out, it's not there when you come back.
Yeah.
So that alone, like Sleep Clause doesn't even need to be a thing anymore at that point.
But does Drowsy also wear off? It does wear off. I played when Legends Arceus, it wears off.
It wears off, and it's not there when you come back in. It's like confused. It's like a better confusion.
Okay, it's not bad. Then I'm okay with that. And like you can spam it like yawn, but like you have to eventually attack. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that actually would be worse.
Even if I spam it, even if I spam it, nothing's guaranteed to happen because of it.
That might actually be scarier in VGC than in 6v6 then, just because something's next to you and you actually be able to attack them that same turn.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a little damage boost. I mean, no. Well, I guess how it is currently, it's not a little damage boost, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty big damage boost.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I can use it in more ways than just regular ass sleep. And regular ass sleep is still really good.
What do you guys think down below? Obviously, let us know. Last little couple minutes of this, we're just gonna read a couple of these of what people had to say. Let me just share my screen with you. That way, you don't have to go through the tweet yourself.
All right.
There you go. So we see the first. Obviously, I asked this back in March, but Jamie says Freeze should 100% change to Frostbite. I think we agree with that for sure. Drowsy feels a bit overpowered. Para, but you take more damage. It's still adding an element of RNG, which isn't good. I think Sleep as is, but if you get hit by an attack, you automatically wake up, so it adds an element of control back. Oh, so
okay.
He's saying
now. Wait. Now I've thought that for the longest time.
If you get hit,
how do you sleep through earthquakes and flamethrowers and like what the hell is that?
That melatonin, man. Sometimes it just hits you right. Like,
I've always thought that if you're asleep and you get hit, you should wake up. But that doesn't change the fact that if you're asleep, I can set up 75 Swords Dances and end the entire battle.
Yeah, it's true.
Please, if you don't switch up.
And that's also another reason why Freeze 100% needs to change, because I've definitely taken advantage of Freeze, like in that sense too. Like if I frozen somebody, I will set up with Quiver Dances and stuff. Like if it gives me a winning shot, for sure I will.
Whereas if if it's Drowsy and I take the risk of setting up a Swords Dance in front of you because you're drowsy, you can still kill me for that. Whereas Sleep, you have to switch or you have to sit in front of me asleep. I think that's way stronger than what Drowsy can potentially do.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. I was like, I'm still a little on the fence, but now I'm leaning a little bit more towards Drowsy right here. We see from Hearts, I think Frostbite should outright replace Freeze. Yes, and introduce a Will-O-Wisp equivalent to afflict it easier. Ooh, what do you think about that?
Which one? I think Frostbite should outright replace Freeze and introduce
a Will-O-Wisp equivalent to afflict. So like a status move for Freeze.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that because if Frostbite exists, it should be a counterpart to
burn.
To burn, like Pyrotos said.
Yeah.
and you should be able to inflict it without having to attack somebody directly.
I like that. I like that as well because I
like
think
it too.
It gives like ice types defensively have always sucked, right? Because they don't get in. There was just ice.
Yeah,
that's it, right?
Yeah. Now you could give that if you give that move to like an Avalugg.
Yeah,
it can be a wall, it can be a tank, and it can inflict that status.
And it can, yeah, and it helps that Avalugg in the end of the day because it has bad special defense. So this is something that helps that. And like they already tried to help like Cryogonal by giving it like freeze dry and stuff like that too. The fact that Drowsy has potential to inhibit you for the same duration as traditional sleep while also lowering your defenses makes it somehow more threatening overall. On average, assuming 3 turn limit and 50% inactivity each turn, Drowsy is equivalent to Sleep Powder. Sleep Powder with traditional sleep will gain you turn advantage 50% of the time, lose advantage 25% of the time on a miss, and result in turn neutral the remaining 25%. However, even in the neutral, damn, Hearts, you went in. Even in the neutral setting, sleep still results in the change in game state as well as player mind state. Sleep Powder is automatically balanced by this perceived 50-50 result. Though it's still ran because it's a mental game, it does result positively. Spore is obviously better and arguably broken, which is what you were saying too, because accuracy means at worst it results in the same change in game state that alters playstyle. At first glance, Drowsy nerfs Spore outright on the RNG side. However, damn Hearts. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading this because this is good, right? Like it's not.
Hey, go ahead.
However, Drowsy simply shuffles around a bit while giving the distinct advantage of lowering defenses. Assuming that Drowsy lasts 3 turns guaranteed, that means even if the sleep user revenge kill, the turn they inflict status, they're still supporting the rest of the team potentially more than a traditional sleep could with the increased damage. Ultimately, Drowsy is a wider spectrum of RNG ranging from less threatening to more threatening than traditional sleep. Ergo, I view them as roughly equivalent. I would choose traditional sleep due to the small range of variants, thus making it easier to play around, as well as it's a little easier to swallow when the worst result occurs, since it's more likely than full Drowsy turns. However, I propose, and that was what I was talking about, right? Like when the third turn is happening, you know you're gonna wake up like it's the third turn. However, I would propose nerfing traditional sleep rather than replacing it personally. Consider traditional sleep with a 2-turn limit instead of a 3, which I kind of like. Turn 1 sleep, turn 50-50, then turn 3 guarantee wake up. This drastically minimizes the positive turn advantage gain potential, which is ultimately a problem with sleep. This would nerf Spore more than Drowsy, but it would also nerf other sleep moves. I would suggest maintaining the accuracy buffs and present it in Legends Arceus to result in a more refined range of variants, making sleep more manageable to deal with while still worthwhile. Okay, so not
went
only
all the way in.
Yeah, which I actually really like. That was what I was looking for when I asked it, right? So not only that, but they hinted on something here too. You see how Dark Void is 90% accuracy, Hypnosis is 70 here. Which it wasn't like unless you played it on like Diamond and Pearl, and then Sleep Powder's 80. So they were talking about making limit sleep to 2 turns. So 2 turns you can only be asleep, besides the guaranteed turn to sleep, and also to make it at least fine, raise the accuracy. So I'd be okay. I actually like that change. Like I actually like.
They're saying that at its worst, Drowsy could potentially leave you asleep for more turns. And you still take more damage.
Yeah.
So in that case, then Drowsy's absolutely worse than current sleep. That's facts.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I remember correctly, like I said, if you switch out, you're not Drowsy anymore.
I feel like that's the case.
That part to me makes it not as bad.
But
I don't remember. Is that fact?
I hope we're not wrong. I hope we're not lying.
I remember. I mean, the way I remember it, I can switch out and not be Drowsy when I come back. I could be wrong though, but I don't think. I mean. I guess we can hypothetically say if Drowsy removes if Drowsy is removed when you switch out and come back in, then I don't think it's as bad as
yeah.
If that's the case, I honestly don't remember.
I feel like it is. Rush saying very similar as well. We're to pair. We don't need a condition example like that. They basically don't like the fact that it's like para 50% or like confusion in a sense. Which is, again, we've touched on. Dragon Whale is one of the leaders of 3v3 Battle Stadium singles. So Frostbite replacing Freeze is a good thing. The one benefit of Freeze for the game is that it punishes people who try to stall in front of Ice Beam, which I guess is fair, right? Give the opponent multiple tries, but more often than that, the Ice Beam has frozen something on a first hit and ruined game plans. We 100% agree with that. Drowsiness over Sleep, on the other hand, doesn't really benefit the game due to RNG and mobility. I'd much rather they nerf Sleep by making it so Pokemon wake up when attacked, which we agree with as well, or Pokemon that fell asleep once became immune to sleep until switching out. Interesting. So, obviously, like you said, when you get hit, how the hell do you avoid an earthquake, right? Right, you're gonna wake up. But they also said a Pokemon that has fallen asleep, if I took a nap, I'm refreshed, right? I shouldn't be able to fall asleep later. That's an interesting addition to sleep too. I kind of like that. I kind of like that.
I mean, it would add more. It would add more thought to stuff like
just clicking score.
Sleep nonstop. Yeah.
Yeah. It would punish people that are on the sleeping side, or they're using it. And then Wolf says freeze should definitely be removed and replaced. Drowsy, we need more info on how it would function in traditional game before making a call, in my opinion. But sleep can definitely be uninteractive and RNG dependent. So get hit by physical movement ratio. So yeah, Wolf is a lot of these people. If we actually keep going, they all think.
You know what? I'm starting to change my opinion because I'd rather have something that's not RNG dependent at all.
That's what I was saying. If I know sleep is 1 to 3 turns, right? If I know sleep is 1 to 3 turns, I know sleep.
That's still RNG though, but it's not as crazy as
I can make my game like if I have a Pokemon like let's say it's Toxapex that got put to sleep. I have multiple opportunities to bring it in and try and burn a turn of sleep, right? But whereas maybe I need it to be in because it has regenerated all that stuff, but maybe I need it to be in front of a Pokemon and it's drowsy. Not only does it not move that turn, but I take double the damage, which I mean a lot of people would actually, or like 0.5 times the damage or whatever the hell is the actual number is. It's definitely more detrimental. So that's what I'm saying. I think we need a little bit more info on that. But based on what we currently have, I like freeze. I like the way Frostbite works in place over freeze. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
nobody likes freeze.
Yeah, nobody at all. Nobody at all likes freeze. So guys, do you like freeze? Let us know down below. Obviously, subscribe as well if you like these type of videos. Shof and I will be doing them more. I had a bunch of comments last time. Let us know what things you'd like us to talk about too. I think that'd be a pretty cool type of thing, like what if type of things you want us to talk about. And sub to Shofu, thank you for being here, of course. And
yes, sir.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
See ya.